Hello everybody, Jake Raby here again, Flat 6 Innovations. I want to welcome you back to another RenVision technical video. Now this is going to be part 3 of our series, a focus on IMS bearing failure. In this video, I'm going to explain what we've done to prepare this engine for our process. So in our first couple parts of this series, we talked about IMS bearing failure, talked about this car having 29,000 original miles. It's the original owner, basically it's a one-owner vehicle. I did purchase this vehicle for the sole purpose of building this video series. I even had my license plate, Mr. M9X, swapped over to this vehicle. And I'm going to be using this vehicle as a poster child, if you will, for what we do here at Flat 6 Innovations. I hope a lot of you that are on the fence about the IMS bearing failure being hype are able to see this series, see that the owner of this vehicle, the prior owner at least, the original purchaser of this vehicle, did everything that he was supposed to do. He did not know what IMS bearing failure was, and it found him. And that's why this 29,000 mile car is now here at Flat 6 Innovations going through a resurrection of its engine. So I don't just want to go over IMS bearing failure in this video, I want it to be a dual purpose video. And basically the second purpose of this video is going to be to illustrate to everybody what it takes for us to process a build here at Flat 6 Innovations. Because we don't swap engines out with you. Very rarely do we do something like that. You've got to be overseas, you have to have a fairly significant major engine failure that basically renders your original engine completely useless for us to swap engines with you. So everybody else wants to take an engine, put it on a shelf, build it, give it back to you, and they are mass producers, they build generic things. That's not what we do. So once I assign a builder to an engine, that builder is going to stay with that engine from the time that it comes apart till the time it goes back together, and he will hit the key for the first time. That is total responsibility and total accountability as far as I'm concerned. It's the best way we can guarantee a great end product. So now let's get to the topic, what we're going to do. As you can see, the engine and gearbox have been taken out of the vehicle. The extraction was done over last day or so, and we busted the gearbox apart from the engine. Now, there's a lot of things that we are here at Flat 6, but we are not a one-stop shop for the entire vehicle. While everybody else is focused on doing suspensions and tires and brakes and gearboxes and all of those things, we are focused on this black box. This is all we do. We only build the engine. The only time that we will do something ancillary to the engine is if the car has a problem and we have to repair it to facilitate our testing, okay? So this vehicle has no problem other than a broken heart. So we don't have to make any other repairs to it. It is a fairly perfect vehicle. Now what we're going to do is we're going to disassemble the engine next. We're going to show you in part 4 of this video series what the engine looked like when we did our forensics and our disassembly, where we go through and we basically focus on all the things that were damaged during the failure, and also we throw away a lot of parts. We throw away a ton of pieces out of this engine even if they are currently good. And what you have to understand, the difference between a quote-unquote rebuild and what we do here as a reconstruction, as I've deemed it years ago, is we take all the things that we know were the cheapest items in the engine, the most basically, let's say, lowest bidder items, and we throw all those away. We do that whether they are good or whether they are currently bad. Because the way I look at it, if I'm building this engine to last the next decade or 100,000 plus miles, why am I going to risk another component that is currently good going bad later down the road, okay? So we also address a lot of things on the outside of the engine. We don't just go through and rebuild the heart, we do the water pump, air oil separator, a lot of the hoses and the PCV items that you see for secondary airflow, a lot of those things. The corrugated tubing is bad about going bad. Crank position sensor, you know, it's 17 years old, we're going to replace that. NOx sensors, those are critical things. We're going to replace all that. We're going to replace a mass airflow sensor, okay? So not all of these things are standard in every build, but a car like this one, they will be standard. Whether it has 29,000 miles or 129,000 miles, we're going to do those things all the time because we know they need to be done. If we don't do them today, the new owner of this car may have to do them tomorrow. So as we move through part 4 of our video series where we tear everything down, I also want to take the vehicle and we're going to do something with it. Now, typically, if this was a customer's vehicle, it was shipped to us from wherever it would be in the world, or certainly in North America, we would take this vehicle, put it in our indoor storage facility where it will stay under lock and key 100% of the time that it's here, and it would stay there for the entire duration of the time that we have the engine apart. Now, with this car, it's worthy of a ceramic coating job by North Atlanta Custom Detailing, okay? So now I'm going to bring AJ in from North Atlanta Custom Detailing. He's going to tell you what he's going to do while I've got the engine out of this car.
Think about it. Think about it. Think about it.
So AJ, tell us what you're going to do with this car. Now I want to let everybody know one of the options we have here at Flat Six, when you ship us your car, no matter where it may come from, it's going to be in our storage area indoors for about 3 months while we have the engine extracted from it and we're performing our wizardry, okay? During that time, while it's here, you can have AJ come grab the vehicle from us and he will perform his own wizardry to it. And AJ, tell us what that is.
So it's very basic. It's actually very simple when you look at the concept of actually what we do. A lot of times people think I have a new car, especially like a low mile car like this one, it shouldn't need anything detail wise, and that's absolutely not the case. What we run into a lot of is when they come from the dealerships or when they're brand new vehicles, they actually have more imperfections than owners will actually see. Our job in this industry is what we take and try to make the car look better than new, perfect the clear coat and make it to where it actually has a smooth surface, remove these imperfections, of course, like your swirl marks, your scratches. Really, you can take into effect, it's almost like lotion on your skin. You want smooth skin, or the same thing with your clear coat on your vehicle. We want to smooth that surface, and then we come back on our back end of it and we protect it with what's called a ceramic coating, which is a worldwide known thing now. We use the top brands. We protect your car with the most that we can. We do everything all the way down to the glass, the plastic trim, the wheels, especially on this vehicle being a black one. We always run into a lot of more trouble with those, people think, but actually these actually turn out the best. So if you want your car absolutely looking correct, following the motor performance that Jake and them do, so it's absolutely to set your car to the next level. It's actually a must. We look at it as, especially if you're going to have a show quality vehicle, this is something that get looked at all the time. You can have an awesome motor, but the best thing to do is have awesome looking paint behind it too. So
yeah, and the thing that I noticed about it, like you guys did my black 88 Carrera.
Absolutely.
And in that car, it had a $1,200 paint job on it, right? It was not a great paint job. A friend of mine did it for me when he needed some money, honestly.
Sure.
And he did a good job, but you guys made that paint look brand new even 10 years after he did it. And it's, of course, a black car just like this one. That was a very impressive job that you did. Now, you know, I also had them do my 1944 Volkswagen Kubelwagen. And I did that not because I wanted it to shine, but because I wanted to make sure I didn't get any dirty fingerprints on it, because it's sand gelb. Basically, it's the sand beige or sand yellow color from World War II, and everything shows up, right? So you want to make sure that you protect it, make it easy to take care of. The biggest thing I noticed after you guys did my black 88 was when it got dirty, I hosed it off. You know, I didn't really have to scrub it. Maybe twice a year I would scrub that car. I still have it now. You'll be detailing it later today. So the preservation is a big thing. The paint correction is a big thing. Making it easier to maintain is a big thing, especially with brake dust. I've noticed brake dust, you just rinse it off, okay? And I've tried some of this cheap stuff and all that sort of thing when it comes to ceramic coating. It doesn't work long term. It's like, you know, here in the shop we have professionally applied epoxy flooring, okay? The floors were done professionally about 6 years ago, and we've been hell on these floors and they've really held up. Right. I make that same kind of analogy with what you guys do, because you did some of my cars 3 or 4 years ago, right, and they're still look as good as they did before. And then basically they do an annual maintenance where they come out. That's actually what they're doing here today, and they retreat everything, and they do that for a good price, and it's good for another year. So just know, while your car is here at Flat 6 Innovations, you can have AJ come grab the car. You can deal directly with him. He'll do whatever you tell him to do. He'll take it to his place about 20 miles from our shop. He will do the whole process, and he'll bring it back to us. We'll stick it back in storage, keep it covered up for you, and everything will be good to go. Now, the last thing I want to say is, like with this car, only 29,000 miles. It's not even dirty. You guys saw the engine. It's not even dirty, okay? But he will be able to clean the engine bay very well because the engine is out of the car, okay? So when he leaves today, he's going to be taking this car with him. It'll be gone for a couple of weeks while we're doing all of our wizardry and magic with the engine. And I just wanted you guys to understand that's an option when you send your car here to Flat 6. And even if you don't do that, find somebody maybe local in your area that does something like what AJ does, and they use the good quality products, okay? And it's not just some guy traveling around doing this work out of his pickup truck, because that doesn't work very well. We've seen what happens with that. That's like those guys that try to build engines like we do, and they build them on dirt floors and sweatshops. That doesn't work very well either, okay? Absolutely. So thanks, AJ. Absolutely. Always nice doing business with you. I'm glad you're here to take care of my half track, and you're going to take this baby back with you. And of course, we're going to be selling this car on Bring a Trailer auctions once everything is all said and done. And you guys will be able to see some videos that AJ is going to do before and after his process at North Atlanta Custom Detailing. Okay, so here is just a little bit of a sneak peek into what will be our teardown video, our part 4 in this series, a focus on intermediate shaft bearing failure. And you see that stud right there? Yep, it has broken. So it is conclusive. IMS bearing failure for this 29,000 mile original owner Porsche 996 from 2003. Stay tuned. Wait for part 4.